Time now for the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. Check out their location in the Bay Area, or you go online, nestbedding.com, for your mattress, your pillows, your sheets, you name it. Sponsor of the Mark Kotsay Show. Back home to end it, 10 straight games. How you feel about the homestand coming up?
No, it's a great way to finish up. I think obviously we go out on the road after this, but a nice long extended homestand. 3 good baseball teams coming in here tonight with San Diego and then Detroit, and then we'll finish up with Seattle, which Seattle's series could have implication for a playoff, playoff team that is going to be coming in here pretty aggressive probably.
I think about the old Texas two-step, what you did down against the Rangers and the Astros. I think you got to come away pretty happy with your ball club. A chance to take 2 out of 3 in Texas. You did take 2 out of 3 in Houston. Talk to us about that and just the growth of your team.
Well, I think, from the onset when we started talking about getting better and maturing these guys, these young players, the goal was to improve in all facets. And I think the biggest growth has been on the mound, really, and our pitching. Our pitching has done a remarkable job over the last probably 6 weeks of eliminating the free bases, reducing the big innings, and really just showing signs of maturity on the mound. But that Texas road trip, we talked about it. We wanted to go in and be competitive against 2 teams that had really beat us up all year, and I think I think we accomplished that. The 3-3 record was an indication of us having some success, but also for the most part, every game we had an opportunity to win and or to at least have a chance to come back and make it competitive at the end.
I think about one of your strengths is relationship building. You've done a great job of that. I think about it as a player with your teammates, as now a guy that's been in the game a long time. And we were just over our right shoulder was Bob Melvin, who we're going to talk to this homestand. And, the relationships you built in this game, obviously with Melvin, you were around him for years, worked for him. That's a strong relationship for you.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be a little weird, to be honest, just seeing him on the other side. And I think this is his first time back in this stadium. So, we got something special planned for Bob. He doesn't know it, but definitely well deserving. And,
yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun time to see and to manage against him across the dugout.
What's the one thing you think you learned most from him?
Yeah, I think the relationship side. I watched Bob deal with that group of players from 16 on and build the relationships with the Matt Olson, the Matt Chapman, the Marcus Semien, and watched how far that went. And, Bob is a mastermind of not just, the relationship side, but the game and managing the game and watching the detail to it that he puts into it. And it's funny, he stopped in the office this afternoon and wanted to know why we bunt so much and why we're running so much. So
you're not allowed to do that as the A's.
So we had a great conversation about that. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, I think about, we can just look at numbers right now. Your starting staff is throwing the ball a lot better. Your pitching staff, obviously the young players are growing. Can't say enough about what your coaches have done. Your coaches have busted their rear end. We don't give them enough credit because when you're losing, it's tough. But your coaches have worked so hard, and we're really starting to see all of their effort pay dividends right now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up. That means a lot. The staff, they don't get any credit. They work really hard. We get here at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and we talk about the guys. We talk about areas that we want to work on or we want to address with the individual players. And you'll see them out here working one-on-one. If you're out here early enough. Eric Martins has done a tremendous job with. Let's just take a guy like Jordan Diaz. Jordan Diaz, not real comfortable at third base in the minor leagues. He's been here. He's done a great job since we started putting him over there. And, I think every coach to a man, the message was, hey, we got to continue to coach. We got to continue to stay positive with these players. And I think we've done that.
One question that I get a lot in the post game is about Ruiz and the direction for him. Because since the injury, he hasn't played as much, hasn't let off as much. Why has he not played as much? And what do you think the plan is? And what does he really need to get better at?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, we looked at the performance since he's been back and he's struggled a little bit offensively. He's had some games, where he's shown flashes, and we've worked hard on making a swing adjustment with him. It hasn't completely translated. And you could take an example like a Shea Langeliers. We've worked hard for about a 2-month period with Shea, trying to make that swing adjustment, trying to get him more direct into the zone. And now you're seeing the results with Shea.
No doubt.
So I think that's kind of the mindset with Ruiz, was to try to, any player that doesn't have success is going to lose that confidence. And so we've tried to maintain that balance with SD, giving him enough opportunity. He's been playing. Obviously, you've seen the platoon kind of happen with SD and with Lawrence Butler, both young players. I mean, we have examples that we look at. You go back to the Matt Olson, who came here in 16. He only played 11 games. He was up the whole month of September, and that team wasn't a winning ball club. So trying to get these guys exposed, getting them enough opportunity, and getting them the right amount of, at bats and experience against the right on right or the left on left, to be able to grow and to help them in their maturation process.
There's only been 3 Oakland A's catchers to hit 20 home runs in a season. Langeliers is going to hit his 20th, and who knows how many more. We see how well he throws the ball. We've talked about it's almost unfair how many pitchers he's had to deal with this year, and that affects your game. But just, as you said, from an offensive standpoint, just the 4th catcher to do that and the way he's hitting, that's really impressive. What does that mean for you in the future behind the dish?
Yeah, we've talked about Shea a lot, and we talked about how difficult it was going to be this season, and brought it up in spring training that he'd only caught a limited amount of games, and the responsibilities of a catcher are first and foremost. And you know what? I love the way that Shea's taken grasp of that. He's taken the leadership of that and said, hey, I'm going to invest in my guys. I'm going to make sure that on that end of it, I grow with them. I learn how to call games. I build relationships with them, and my offense might not be there right away, but now you're seeing the results of the offense kind of catching up. And I think for him, as we talked about, I made the comparison with Sean Murphy. If you looked at Sean's first full season in 21, the numbers pretty much align. Sean may have had a little higher batting average, but now
he's got more pop.
Now Shea's got a little more pop. So Shea hit all through the minor leagues, and sometimes when you get here, as we've seen, those challenges can be a little bit more difficult at the major league level. We're witnessing it with Tyler Soderstrom, who's going through those challenges. Has had success all through the minor leagues as well.
What about J.J. Bleday today? Of course, we're recording this on Friday before the Padres series. J.J. Bleday, great to see, had the knee injury, out there hitting. What are the expectations? Not a lot of games left. I know I'd love to see him again.
Yeah, no, the goal is to get him back and to finish the season here with us. That being said, he's still got progressions to make. Today was his first live batting practice off another IL member in Austin Pruitt. So, we're graduating him along. We don't want to obviously rush the process, but we want JJ to be completely confident he's ready, and he'll go out and test it and then hopefully rejoin us.
You were a gamer back in the day. There's no question about that. But do you remember your first full season, what that was like when you got to the very end? Because that was you're coming off winning the World Series with the Marlins. Now it's a total rebuild. So it's like going through a rebuild and going through a full season.
Yeah, it's a grind. It is. And that full season, I can vividly remember in August of my rookie season, our manager at the time was Jim Leland. Jim saw me in early in Houston. It was a 4-game series, and he actually had me go into the training room and take my weight because I had lost about 20 pounds, and I was in a funk. And that funk wasn't necessarily because of my swing. It was more because I was just so worn out. And it's a long season. These guys are going through it, and they're going to get this experience this year, and hopefully only build on this experience for the years to come.
Did he think about taking you out to the track and fatten you up with a couple meals? Because you guys were betting the ponies there in Miami.
Yeah, called a racetrack, right? And that was the pregame lunch meal. They didn't provide lunch in the clubhouse like we do now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how much the game has changed. Well, let's just end on this. For you, how are you doing right now towards the end of the season? How's everything? Because, we talk so much about everybody else. We never really talk a lot about you.
No, you've asked me that question. I think it was a couple shows ago. And at that time, we were on probably a bad stretch. And, again, it's been challenging. We do see some progress, and that's what's, keeping us going and in the right direction. These young players have come here. We've been way more competitive over the last 6 weeks. And it's not necessarily all wins and losses. It's in how we've played the game, and it's
Yes.
every category has
Your
improved.
defense has been way better.
The
too.
defense has been very, very, very good over the last couple of weeks. We've turned more double plays on this last road trip, and it's starting to show that work that they're putting in every day is starting to show, which is great.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been a lot of fun so far this season. We got a couple more, but the last homestand, 10 games. So I look forward to it, and good luck to your ball club.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
That is the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. Check out their location in the Bay Area, or you go to nestbedding.com for your bed and all your bedding needs. The Mark Kotsay Show.